Hello, Cal and Shelley here, and in this lesson we're going to teach a fairly simple move called the ladies free spin. It's very similar to the previous lesson, which was the ladies outside turn. Okay, we're going to start out once again by simply showing the move, and then we're going to go ahead and break it down. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not even going to do it from the other angle because I think it's totally unnecessary. With this particular move, it's very much the same as the move we just taught. The difference is, in the previous turn, we signaled a lady by bringing her arm to the gentleman's right to set her up or to prep her, and then we took her arm over her head like that. In this move, the footwork for the lady is going to be the same, the footwork for the gentleman is going to be the same. The difference is, instead of bringing our arms around shoulder height to let her know something's up or to prep her, we're going to bring our arm down at waist level, somewhere down in here. And instead of bringing her arm over, we're going to give her a little bit of a push, so to speak, after we signal her, and we're just going to let go. So let's go ahead and do that again from this angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gentlemen, when you're signaling her for this move, you're going to bring your arm to your right, and you're kind of going to, at some point, you're going to kind of let your arms lose connection over here. Also, ladies, it's good for you to know, so again, I guess the point is that ladies, you want to still have that connection. So when the guy's bringing your arm this way to signal you, you're feeling that because your arm's not a limp noodle. And then when the guy gives you a little bit of a push, you need to go with that. Because you're dancing. The idea is he's not just probably got nervous twitches, he's signaling you and then he's leading you. And you need to go with the lead, and it's going to help for you to have a little bit of that frame. One thing that we didn't necessarily mention before, this dance is not typically a real bouncy dance. You can bounce if you want, but it's so funny because early on when I was learning this, I was learning with a whole group of people back in the early 90s. And then one of the young ladies that was a friend and a dancer, she was probably taking a few lessons that I wasn't taking or something. And one day I'm dancing with her and she goes, "Why are you bouncing so much?" It was like, well, excuse me, I didn't know. That was her way of telling me. So I'm just letting you know that even though you'll see some people bouncing like this, it's not typically a bouncy dance. And one problem with bouncing too much, gentlemen, is if you're doing a lot of bouncing, the signals can be a little less clear because your arms are like all over the place. You think you're real cool and the lady has no idea what you're doing. So, yeah, don't bounce. So, another thing, ladies, on this, when you're doing the turn, instead of just dropping your arms way down by your knees, so let's show how not to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Yeah, instead of doing that, a good thing to do with a lot of dances is to have your hands around waist level.
Keep your posture.
Yeah, keep your posture, keep your hands there so that the gentleman can grab the hand. Because as we move on, I may want the lady to do a free spin, and I may immediately go into something else, and I can't do it if her hands are at her side or in her pocket, or
yep, so you want your hands available all the time.
Yeah, have your hands available all the time. Good. Let's just go ahead and show that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another thing to keep in mind is we're doing that right now. We're teaching this from the closed position. You can also do it from one of the other positions that we talked about in one of the previous lessons, and that would be the two-hand hold. Or you could do it from the cross-hand position. So later on we'll talk more about all this, but if you were in a two-hand hold position, you would simply go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I happen to end that by going back to closed position. I could have gone back to two-hand hold. So I don't know that we need to show them. They can probably put that together. So that's a good couple points. Ladies, you know what to do with your hand now. and be aware that you can do it from the closed position or the two-hand hold or Or you could, the gentleman, you could actually be dancing in an open position with one hand and do it this way. You could go back to grabbing with the same hand, or you can go back to the closed position. There's a lot of options with this.
Nice.
What we're going to do is we're going to do that a couple more times. If you want to follow along, this is the ladies' free spin. I'm going to count it slow enough that if you want to follow along, you can. I think what we'll do is we're going to do a basic, then a free spin, then a basic, and a free spin. I'm going to try to do this slow. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to turn around and do this from the other angle again. We're going to do it slowly in case you want to follow along again. This is, we're going to do it twice. Ladies free spin twice. We're going to do a basic, free spin, basic, free spin. And ladies, remember, anytime that you're turning, as a rule, you want to take kind of small steps, like we talked about in the previous lesson. So you want to remember to do that here. The gentleman is letting you go, and that's why it's called a free spin, because you're going to lose that connection, but don't lose your mind and start taking really big steps. You still want to do those smaller steps when you're turning on the 1, 2, 3. So let's do that together. If you want to follow along, a basic, a turn, a basic, and a turn. We're doing the free spin. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. Okay, one other thing that we want to do before we turn music on is we're going to incorporate the ladies outside turn. Some people would call that an underarm turn. I don't use that term because I think it can get a little confusing, but in proper dance terminology, especially ballroom, there'll be turns that are called an underarm turn. Here we're just going to call it a ladies outside turn. We're going to do the first turn we did, the underarm outside turn, and then we're going to do a free spin. So I think what we'll do, if you want to follow along, we're going to do a basic, an outside turn, like we taught in the previous lesson, a basic, a ladies free turn. And then we're going to turn on music and do the same thing. So we're going to do a basic first, ladies outside, basic, free spin. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go ahead and do that from this angle. Again, we're going to try to do it slow enough that you can follow along. We're going to do basic, outside turn, basic, free spin. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn on a little bit of music just for a few moments, and if you want to follow along, we're going to do the basic footwork with an outside turn, basic footwork and a free spin, just like we just did without the music. So for people who want to follow along with a little bit of music, let's go ahead and do that. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then again, basic first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. Well, that's the ladies free spin. Hope you enjoyed that, and we look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Thank you very much, Shelley.